Hi, I'm Milena. Welcome to the KBC Wellgood program. I'm going to be taking you through a core conditioning program. We're going to work from top to bottom and we're going to get straight into it. So we're going to start in standing position. The workout is suitable for all levels, so I'm going to give you modifications as we go along. You can make some of the exercises a little bit more challenging, or you can also take them back down if you want to make life a little easier for yourself. The most important thing is that you listen to your body and you take the instructions that I'm giving you and you see how you go with them in terms of putting them into your own movement system. So everybody's going to be completely different and we're going to work at different levels, but the workout is suitable for everybody. So let's begin. So you're going to stand at the back of your mat. You're going to take a nice long deep breath in. You can raise the arms up over your head. And as you exhale, we're going to gently start to roll down through the spine. So you're going to go chin to chest and very gently start to take the body down and the arms coming down towards the mat. When you get there, you're going to feel the length through the back of your body. And as you exhale, you're going to stand down into the mat and allow the spine to start to roll you back up. We're really just warming up through the body to begin. Starting to get a nice little breathing pattern going on, starting to get a little blood flowing, and just moving through all of the systems as we work through this space. So to come back up, you really press the feet down into the ground and into the mat, and use the energy of that push to take you back up into standing position. We're going to do one more of those. Nice long deep breath in. Exhale as you allow the arms to reach down, start to make your way down towards the mat. When you get into this position, you can hang out here. And it really doesn't matter where your hands go. So you can kind of find a couple of different places, whatever feels good for you. And you're going to just start by walking out the pelvis and taking just a little bend through the knee. So that's going to allow your hips to just gently rotate from one side through to the other. It's really useful to start to breathe really deeply in this place. And then from that place, you're going to take a nice long deep breath in. We take a little bend in the knees and you're going to come down and find the mat. So from here, you come onto your knees. You're going to step one leg forwards, maybe your right leg to start with. You're going to inhale as you allow the arms to reach, finding a little bit of extension into the spine. And then exhale as you let the arms come down. Do that again. Nice long deep breath in. So we're opening up through the front of the body and allowing that movement of extension to come into the spine. Exhale, reach right up through the arms. And you feel like as you're pressing your arms up towards the ceiling that you're pressing the pelvis forward. So you're creating length in two different directions, which feels really good for the body. One more of those, and then from that place, allow the arms to come down and find the floor. From there, you're going to just press back as you lean in. You can point through the toe. And you may find that your foot might come up off the mat a little bit. That's really fine. No big deal. You're just working in to create a little bit of length through the back of the leg. Go for one more of those, reaching in, and then when you're ready, you can just step back with the foot and then step forward and repeat with the other leg. So we step in and we do the same thing on this side. So you're going to lean in and then release, let the pelvis come back. And what you may notice is one side may not feel exactly the same as the other side, and that's really normal. We tend to find we don't always have the kind of symmetry that we're looking for, but as long as you're moving with the right intention, reaching the pelvis forward, opening up through the spine, and just breathing really nicely as you go through, it's going to work really well. Do for one more of those, reaching in, and just hold, take a really nice long deep breath in, allow your hands to come back and find the mat. From there, you're going to lean back through the spine and then let the leg come forward. So you're creating a little bit of mobility into the hips. And it's great to do this movement pattern just to warm yourself up before we start to get into the more challenging core exercises, because you might think core is just about the tummy muscles, but it's really not. Core is pretty much everything in the body. So it's the spine, it's the legs, it's the arms, it's the whole system, reaching right through. And then from there, take a nice long deep breath in, and you're going to come back and find yourself in all fours. So from here, we're going to create a little bit of work where we have a little bit of weight bearing through the shoulders. So we're going to find ourselves into like a little half plank position, and we're going to walk the hands a little closer together. So again, you can make this as hard or as easy as you like. If you want to make it a little harder, you can take the hands a little wider apart, a little easier, hands closer together. From that place, you're going to start to open up into what we call a little bit of thoracic rotation. So it's a great movement to start to open the ribs. It helps to stimulate the diaphragm, which is your breathing muscle. Really, really great system to get going before you start some core exercises. You're reaching right through towards the ceiling, and if it feels good, let your eyes follow your hand as you rotate around. If that's too challenging, you can always leave your gaze looking down towards the floor. It doesn't have to be the full version the first time you do the exercise of the system. And again, you're just breathing as you work through that pace. You're gonna go for 3 more of these, making sure if you started on the right that you finish on the left, so you have lots of symmetry. Breathe here. Let's do 1 more, and then when you're ready, opening up through the spine from that place. So from here, you can reset the arms. You're gonna tuck your toes under, and you're gonna work through a little bit of a plank preparation. Just extend out through the legs. Gently let the knees drop back down, find the mat, and then do it again. Exhale as you extend and reach long through the legs. So one of the things that you wanna really make sure when you're working into plank is that you keep the back of your head lined up with the rest of your spine. So it's tempting to wanna let your head fold downwards, but we're gonna keep a really nice focus on keeping that alignment all the way through the spine. You're gonna go for 3 more of these. Exhale as you extend into the legs, and inhale as you release down. 2 more like this. Starting to get warm already and a little breathless too. And then 1 more when you're ready. Hold in that plank position. And so your challenge might be just to hold here and breathe for a little bit. If it gets too much, you can always drop back onto your knees and just continue to hold yourself in a little half plank position. There's a version of this for everybody. Good. 1 more long deep breath in, and then when you're ready, just sit back onto your heels, and you're gonna open up really nicely through the arms. From that place, you're gonna come through, and we're gonna work into a little bit of a C-curve series. So we come and find our seat on the mat. We try and sit ourselves up nice and tall, and so if you find you're a little tight through the hips, sometimes it can be hard to kind of get on top of your pelvis. So you can take the legs a little bit further away to the front. From that place, nice long deep breath in. The arms are gonna extend out. So it's really useful to press your feet into the mat to start to allow the roll down as you start to bring yourself down towards the mat, very gently finding your way down. You can add the arms if you want, taking them back overhead, and then when you're ready, little bend in the knees is gonna help you lift yourself back up into that seated position. And then you're gonna go again. Breathe deeply as you release, start to find your way down towards the mat. Those arms are gonna open up, a nice long deep breath in, and then an exhale as you start to take yourself back up. So if you find that a little too challenging, you can also just do the half version, where you just come halfway down and then slowly come back into your starting position. It's gonna give you a really nice benefit of that core strength and a little bit of eccentric lengthening through the back of the body, which is super important to keep the spine nice and healthy, but also to give you a really good, strong core. And of course then, if you're happy with the full version, just keep going, reaching right down, maybe slowing it down a little more each time, and then slowly come back up, and you're gonna sit yourself up nice and tall. From there, we're gonna add a little rotation. So as you exhale, you're gonna allow one arm to reach right back off the mat and then slowly come back. So we just go halfway down towards the mat and then release, take it back down. But we're adding that little bit of rotation as we go, reaching down and through, breathing deeply. Exhale as you lengthen back through the arms. 2 more like this. Breathe as you reach down, and then release, take it back in, and the very last one this time, and very gently come back to your starting position. 2 more little movements here. We're gonna come down into our C-curve. So if it gets a little too challenging, you just stay here. If you have a little more energy, you're gonna send the arms and reach them up towards the ceiling. Inhale, release, take the arms down. Do it again, big exhale. So it's really important that you include the whole body in this movement. So your feet are gonna be really grounded in towards the mat. Your breath is gonna be really deep. You're reaching up and out through the arms, and really feel like the back of your body is coming into the exercise as well. So those shoulder blades are supporting you in the lift of the arms. You're going to do one more of those for me. Exhale as you reach through the arms. Take a little bend into the elbows. Hands are going to come to the back of your head. This is the last little challenging exercise, I promise. From that place, in that little C curve, you're going to exhale as you rotate over to one side, and then inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, you're going to rotate to the other side, and then inhale back to center. Keep breathing. So as you're moving through this space, you're going to want to make sure that your lumbar spine is nicely tucked under, just to make sure that you have plenty of support through that system. One more like this. Nice long deep breath in, and then when you're ready, reach through the arms. Come and sit yourself up nice and tall. Then we're going to find our way all the way down onto the mat. So you're going to very gently start to release. Oh my goodness, thank God. To lie down. Good. All right, from that place, walk your feet in nice and close. Take your hands down onto the mat. We're going to work into a little bit of shoulder bridge. So it's a really basic exercise, but extremely effective in terms of giving a little bit of strength through the glutes, the back of the body, and then opening up those hips. So we're going to very much stand down into our feet. As we exhale, we're going to allow the pelvis to come upwards towards the ceiling. So if you press down with your feet, you're going to automatically get a really nice lift through the front of the body. And in that space, you can also use the hands to give you a little more of a support of a lift. And then very gently, you take a deep breath in when you're here. You're going to start to release the spine, one little piece of spine at a time, slowly starting to allow the pelvis to find its way back down onto the mat. You can take a little bit of the weight out of your feet to come down here, and then you're going to do it again. So you stand down into your feet. The feet find the floor first, and then as a result, your pelvis is going to counteract and is going to lift up towards the ceiling. Deep breath in here. Very, very gently start to release the spine, one little piece of spine. And it's not an exercise that you need to do in a hurry. You can take your time, but it's really important that you keep breathing throughout the whole thing. So go again. Exhale as you stand into the mat. Open up through the hips. Stay lifted here. Really feel that press of your pelvis upwards and an energy downwards into your feet, and then slowly release, come back down. The very last one, we're going to go up, we're going to stay high this time. So you're going to exhale as you lift, send the hips towards the ceiling, and stay right here. From that place, very gently, you can start to just march out the feet. So a little single leg lift is going to start to get the pelvis now working a little more in terms of balancing and coordinating. So one leg comes up, means the other leg has to support. And what you're doing is you're working into those sling systems, which are a really nice system to support your core. Breathe as you lift into that space. Nice little exercise to get the glutes strong, to wake up the back line of your body, which we're going to meet a little later on in the workout. 2 more like this. And the very last one, when you're ready, foot goes down. From that place, 1 more lift of that pelvis before you go, and then very, very gently, you're going to start to allow the spine to roll and find its way all the way back down onto the mat. Good. So from that place, you're going to take the legs into tabletop position. So tabletop for many of us is going to be completely different. So this is kind of a nice starting place, knees over hips, and then the feet are reaching out. If it gets a little too much for you, you can always come into a softer tabletop. So you can drop your feet down, you can bring your knees in towards you a little bit. But if you want even more of a challenge, you can extend your legs and create a little more work for the tummy muscles in that position. So whatever works for you. So when you're ready, from that place, we're going to take a nice long deep breath in. We're going to reach the arms up overhead. And as you exhale, we're going to float up into our first little flexed position. So we're really finding that flexion by dropping the back of the ribs down towards the mat. And we almost feel like we have an energy coming up from behind. From there, we're going to start off really easy. So let's begin. One leg is going to reach all the way out towards the mat. And then inhale, release, come back into your starting position. Exhale as you send the other leg, reach it away.
and then release, take it back in. So even though I'm moving through my legs, I'm gonna wanna make sure that I'm really nicely flexed up through the body. So my spine is lifting up and forward. And then we go again. So this is our single leg stretch to start with. Breathing really deeply as we go. The arms are reaching forward. And then release back in. 2 more like this. Reach away and then gently come back, and then 1 more. And then from that place, you can take a little rest. If you don't need to, you're gonna stay in that position. And then from here, we come back, we find that same position, and then now we go both legs. So we're gonna energize both legs out towards the end of the mat, and then release, take it back to your starting position. Do it again. Big exhale as you send the energy into the legs. So all the while I'm thinking about moving up and forward towards the end of the mat, really breathing deeply as I find that support from the middle of my body. Exhale. So I'm never holding my breath throughout this series. This is a challenging one. 2 more like this. You're almost there. Brilliant. And then again, the 1 more, we're gonna hold it out there. And the idea is that we stay reaching for 3, we stay reaching for 2, we stay reaching for 1, and then we gently let it come all the way back in. Oh, felt that, great. So those feet can go down. You can take a little rest for just a second. The next series is a little bit of a dead bug. So again, great exercise to stimulate the core, to get all of these muscles really nicely coordinating. That's the challenge if you want a strong core, is to make sure everything coordinates together. All right, so 2 legs, we find our tabletop position again. This time we're gonna actually use the hands to the back of the head, neck, and shoulders. So we're gonna take ourselves into that flexed position. And again, the idea is that we feel like we're being drawn up from behind. So we don't want to pull on our neck, because if you pull on your neck, that's going to be quite tender through the front of the neck position. So instead, we almost feel like the head has almost like a cradle to rest back into. So from there, we're very, very gently going to allow the thighs to drop down. A little toe tap towards the floor, and then slowly let them come back to where we came from again. Exhale as you reach down towards the mat, and then release, take it back in. So you will have a little bit of movement in your spine on this exercise. That's perfectly fine. You don't need to keep the spine completely stiff or completely still. There's always going to be movement when you're working into these kinds of exercises, as long as it feels okay. If you feel any kind of pain in the lower back, you're going to want to maybe shorten the range of motion. Breathing deeply as you reach in. Good. And then from that place, we make it a little easier. So now we just take it into that single leg version of the same exercise. So we're just alternating one and then the other, and then reaching through. And then from that place, we're gonna add a little bit of a crossover. So we're gonna take the elbow, we're gonna reach it across. So this is our crisscross, reaching through and off the mat, and starting to engage other muscles like those obliques, breathing deeply as you work through like this. You're gonna go for 8, and then for 7. Start to get warm on this exercise. Last 4, and last 3. Just about there, last 2, and last 1, and release those knees coming in, head rests back down. From there, it's really nice to just open up through the arms. You can let the knees rock over to one side, reach the gaze into the other side, just to give the lumbar spine a little bit of a release, back into the center, and then same on the other side, reach and just look away from the direction that the knees are going in. And then again, one more either side, a little bit of a rotation. Release back to the center, and then last one, reaching right over, and then take it all the way back in. All right, just a couple more in this position. So from here, we're gonna send the legs straight up towards the ceiling. We're gonna use the arms this time. So we're gonna come up and we're gonna cross over, and then come up and cross over. So you can use your spare hand, or your hand that's not doing anything, to support the head, neck, and shoulders. That's a really nice place to hang out here. And the idea with that arm moving up and over is you almost want to imagine like you're throwing something. So like you're throwing a ball up and over the top of your arms. And so you're really engaging what we call the back line of the body. And that's going to, again, give us a really nice support system through our core muscles. And then we're going again. You're gonna give me 8 more like this. 8 here, and then 7, and then 6. Keep breathing deeply. 5, and then 4, almost there. Last 3, and last 2, and last 1. When you're ready, we hold here. Take a little breather for just a second. Go long with the legs. Now we work into our single leg scissors. So we get to hold onto the leg to support us, and then we exhale as we change and breathe. And reach. So you use the arms to almost anchor the leg in, and your goal is to lift a little higher and really find the length in that top leg. So it's tempting to want to bend that knee. Can you feel it? So your challenge is to keep the leg as long and as energized as you possibly can. You're going to go for 8 here. Use the arms, and 7 and 6. You're almost there. I say that to myself as well. Last 4 and last 3. You've got 2 more, and last 1. And release, and then the head goes down. All right, last little exercise. You ready? The most challenging of all. So you're gonna send your arms out nice and wide on the mat. You're gonna send your legs up towards the ceiling, and you're gently gonna start to draw a little circle with those legs. So this is one of those exercises that when you're doing it, if somebody's looking in from the outside, they're like, oh, that looks like a really easy exercise. But you'll know when you're in the middle of the exercise, every single muscle in your body is working to support this. So it's a great core strengthening exercise. It's brilliant for pelvic floor. It's really good for lower back mobility and strength. And it's a real challenging exercise as well. So I'll stop talking now and I'll just keep doing it. Stay long in your legs, that's the challenge. And just breathe and try and keep the movement as symmetrical as you can. And the challenging part of the exercise is that you have to reverse and do it in the opposite direction as well. So when you think you've had enough, you have to turn it around and then do the same on the other side. Keep breathing deeply. Exhale as you rotate, and you'll really feel deep in your core, but also through those lower abdominals, really connecting. Great for the obliques, and a brilliant all-around exercise. And like I said, it looks much easier than it is. Stay here for 4. Breathe for 3, last 2, and last 1, and release. Let those legs come all the way in. All right, when you're ready, slowly come up. So we're certainly warm now after that. We're gonna come back and find our way, our friendly plank that we started with in our warm-up. So we're gonna come back and find ourselves back in our plank position. So again, very similar. If you find the plank too hard, you can always drop onto your knees. But we're gonna make it a little more challenging if we can, because we're warm now and we're ready to go. You can build up to these exercises as well. So we really stand in our hands and in our feet, really strong through the middle of the body. We're gonna extend out through the left leg, and you're gonna draw the knee in and release, send it away, and breathe. Send it away. So the idea is that we stay really energetic through the middle of the body, and we find as much depth in that curl as we can. 4 here, breathe. 3 to go. 2 more. And then your last 1, sweep the leg out, take a little step down. You're gonna change, reach the leg away, draw it in. And breathe, really long. Your nose can come down and your head can come down just a little to meet the knee. We're not gonna flex the spine too much. Stay here 2, stay here 1, and release. Find your plank, take a deep breath, little bend in the knees, and you're gonna open out, really reaching long through that stretch. We're not done just yet, couple more here. You're gonna come forward, find your plank. From here, now we're gonna take a little wider step. We're gonna reach the arm out front. You're gonna give me a big circle all the way around. Come back the way you came, hand presses on. Same on the other side. Exhale, you're gonna reach the arm forward. Big circle all the way around the back. Take it forward and then place it on. Again, reach the arm. So the key to this is to go slow. Follow your arm
with your eyes, and then release, take it back. One more here. Big reach out, slowly take it down, and then when you're ready, little bend in the knees, and then come back. Then we're gonna find the side seams of our body. So we're gonna come back into plank, and we're gonna add a little turn into that position. So we find a little side plank. You're gonna reach the arm up overhead and come into a little side bend, and then allow the pelvis to drop down towards the mat. Exhale as you reach up and over. Inhale as you release, take it down. Exhale, lift through. Inhale, release, take it down. One more like this. Exhale, reach, take it up and over. Inhale, take it back down. When you're ready, come back and find the mat. Little bend in the knees. Sit back, and we'll just do the same on the other side. I'll just turn through so you can see. So finding that place, you're gonna rotate, find your side plank, and really, again, stand into your feet. So the more you stand down into those feet, the more your pelvis is gonna lift. Same with your arm. If I press down into my left arm, I'm gonna find much more lift up and out through the right. And we breathe. Big inhale. Exhale, up and over, and then do it again. Inhale here. Exhale, up and over. Go again. Breathing deeply. Reaching in. Two more like this. Really use the floor to press through with both the feet and the hands. Last one. Hold in that position. Big long reach. And then when you're ready, come around and find your way back down onto your mat. Good. You're gonna sit back onto the heels. Have yourself a little shell stretch there. We're almost done. You're gonna bring yourself up. Find yourself in a little lunge forward position. So you can step forward, let's say, with the right leg to start with. Tuck the toes under, and we're gonna gently lift and lengthen out of the back knee. So really similar in our warm-up when we had the back knee down. This time we're lifting up, so we're gonna drop into the pelvis a little bit more. And you feel with the pelvis being balanced that you have similar weight on the right side and on the left side. So you're not weight bearing too much on that front leg. From there, arms are gonna come down. We're gonna extend through the spine. Big breath in, and then release, let the arms come down. This time, we can go even further. You're gonna do it again. Big reach all the way back. Taking it back down. So you'll feel the legs really now starting to create a little bit of work for the core here. So once those legs are active, the middle of your body has to be active too. So we find that movement, really stand into the ground, and then use the spine, all the muscles surrounding the spine, to work through the movement. Two more like this, breathing really deeply. Exhale as you open, and then last one, when you're ready, you're gonna come up, you're gonna hold it here, and then just pulse very gently. So getting a little more depth into the movement, little gentle pulses. You can keep them small. If it gets too much, you can take a little rest, but hold on, just a few more. The legs are strong, they can take it. Last 3, and last 2, and last 1, and release, we take it down. From there, just a little swap over of the legs. So left leg's gonna go forward. Take a little grounding to start with. So just again, so you find your balance. It can be useful to just take a moment, make sure you're balanced, front leg and back leg. Lift up and out of the back leg. See how that feels? And then you can add the arms. Now you can always forget the arms if you want. Make it a little easier. You could just move from this place here. So just finding a little bit of motion in the spine, and it's not so big when you take the hands out of it. But of course, if you're enjoying that movement and you want to add in just a little bit more, we reach up and out through those arms. Inhale here. And it's really normal to feel a little unbalanced, even for the teacher, when you're reaching through this position, sweeping down. Exhale as you lift right through. 2 more like this. Inhale here. Exhale as you open. And then last one, breathing really deeply. You're going to hold it in this place. And then very gently, little pulses, just Again, sinking the pelvis down, but keeping those arms reaching right up towards the ceiling. Stay here, 8, and then 7. Keep reaching, 6. Keep your gaze lifted. So where your eyes go, your head is going to follow. So if I look at the floor, I'm going to end up slightly down here. Whereas if I look up, my gaze up, my head's going to be up, my spine's going to be up. Last 3, and last 2, and last 1, and the heart rate is certainly pumping when you work into those legs. Sit back and have a little shell stretch there. And then very gently we come and find our feet again. We're almost done. So we're going to take ourselves a nice wide stance. So make sure you're comfortable. You know, it's important that you don't step out too wide if that's not your comfort zone. So the pelvis, you know, we need to make sure that we're nice and stable in that space. So if you prefer to have a narrow stance and it makes you feel more stable, then that's the place to be. If you want a bigger stance, absolutely brilliant, especially if you have lots of flexibility through the legs. So we're going to add a little bit of movement into the spine and starting to bring a little bit of motion through the inner thighs, all of the muscles connecting through the pelvis in the lateral motion. So we're working through inner thighs, pelvis is getting a little more open, and we can slow this movement right down. So you're taking a hold, you're coming down, maybe connect with some part of the leg as you reach into that space. The weight comes onto whichever side of the body that you're moving towards. Feel free to bend your knee and really deeply squat into that side of the body while you find nice length in the other side of the body. You're going to stay here for 4 more, either side. Keep breathing. And you know, again, you might find you start off, you don't go so deep, and as you get a little warmer, each one you can take a little further. You get to add maybe a little bit more rotation. Last 2 like this, and then last 1. And then when you're ready, you can come down and you can find yourself onto the floor. Hands again, just connecting down. And then just create a little side bend from one side through to the other, just opening up through those legs. And you're going to stay here for 8 and 7. Just let the heart rate start to come back down. Let your breath find its way. Let everything start to quieten back down. We're going to come back to cooling down the system. Stay here for 4. Stay here for 3. Last 2. And then last 1. And when you're ready, you're just going to turn in. Come back. You're going to find yourself in a little mermaid position. So a little Z sit to finish off our workout today. So, you know, you can line yourself up nicely with the mat. This leg is wrapped around if that feels okay. Tuck it in if that's okay. If not, if the flexibility isn't there, you can let the leg go. Take your hands down and really find as much balance as you can on one side through to the other. And then from that place, you're going to create a really nice long side bend as you open up through the side of the body and then release, take it down. And then the arm comes up and reaches through. And then do it again. So every core workout deserves a mermaid at the end of it, where it's really nice just to let things calm down and just open out the body from one side through to the other. Stay here for 2 more. And breathe. And then 1 more. Lifting through. And you're just going to hold your last one. Just stay in this position. So you're going to reach in. You can start to rotate. Have a little look up towards that hand. Keep your fingertips reaching towards the ceiling. Feel like your legs are really heavy down on the mat. Take 1 more long deep breath in and then release. We'll just swing the legs around to do the same on the other side, making sure we balance everything up. And again, same thing. Just level off the pelvis, make sure everything is nice and sort of heavy on either side. And again, if it doesn't feel comfortable to tuck this leg in, just leave it out, it's fine. The more flexibility you get, the easier that part becomes. Hands are resting down, take a deep breath in, and same thing. So left arm is going to reach maybe up and over, and breathe, and the arm goes through to the other side. And then go again, and just keep moving through a place that feels comfortable. You can follow the hands. That's generally a nice place to have your gaze. Good, and really reaching in. And one of the nice things about this movement is you really get the spine and all of the organs of digestion, liver gets a little stretch, and stomach and the pancreas and the spleen, everything reaching through. And then you're going to hold this up here and stay in that lifted position and just keep reaching. The arm is going to reach towards the ceiling, shoulder nice and relaxed. And feel like you're going up and over yourself. Stay in that position. Take a really nice long deep breath in and then release. Let it come all the way back down. Take a little crisscross into those legs. Sitting yourself nice and tall. Take a nice long deep breath in through the arms, and then very gently just let the arms fall out to the side. Head, neck and shoulders fall down. Drop into the shoulders. Take a really nice long deep breath in. And then very, very slowly start to take the hands back up, and you guys are all done today. That was great work. Thank you so much for joining the KBC Well Good program.